Hello, it's an honor to be here today to present to you HearSay. HearSay is a one-of-a-kind streaming idea that lets students take their essays and turn it into visual media and share as an educational resource for everybody. We are transforming student essays into visual media. The problem is something we're all familiar with. We were all students at one time, and we would work so hard on essays. We'd turn those essays, we'd get a 90% and 95% if we had a nice professor. And then what? This essay would go into a USB or a hard drive and would never see the light of day again. And I just thought this was such a shame. How can we take these brilliant essays beyond the classroom? At the same time, we all know that audiences are craving credible, engaging, and educational content, but not in the form of an essay. At HearSay, we have an open submission platform, and we empower students and professors to directly submit their essays. We then take those essays and we turn them into using AI and human ingenuity into podcasts, videos, short form contents, TikToks, Instagrams, which really makes the story jump off the page. And we take those great essays, philosophy, political science, economics, and we turn it into content that we can share everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, that can be enjoyed by everybody. What we learned from doing this is that we're giving academic work a chance to reach a broader audience beyond the classroom. At the same time, we're making scholarly insight accessible to mass audiences while fighting misinformation. Now, here's our opportunity. There's a growth in the educational segment, 20% annually over the past 5 years. People are going on social medias and they're realizing that this is just brain rot. This isn't information that they actually want to consume. We know it's addictive. We're all doing it. If we're doing it anyways, how can we actually learn from this experience? When you go on TikTok, you have the STEM page. That page is exclusively for educational content. And that's the fastest growing current market segment across social medias is academic and educational resources. There's an untapped academic content supply. Thousands, tens of thousands of essays submitted every year from brilliant students, marked by highly educated professors. We want to take all of that resource that just lives on USB and hard drives and turn it into inspiring content. Ultimately, we're taking academia and intersecting it with the creator economy to bring you HearSay. What are our goals from HearSay? Number one, we want a platform that empowers students' work. I've always felt demotivated and jaded knowing that, yes, I can get a 95% and pour my heart into this essay and I can get a great mark. But really, what am I doing it for beyond the classroom? Well, here's the answer. Next, we're bringing higher education research to the masses. What is one requirement from essays that's different than all other sources of content is that it needs references to get a good mark. So right away, we know that when we're taking an essay from a student that's been marked by a professor, it's credible, at least to a higher degree than what's currently out there, and we can beat misinformation. And finally, of course, we want to earn revenue and support our community of content creators and students. Here's the path forward for HearSay. Just an example is a student will take an essay that they've done well on and that they're proud of, and they submit it to HearSay. We then undergo an essay review through an AI process that measures the essay for things like content engagement, genre, subject credibility, and if our audience will engage with that, and if it's worth turning that essay into a visual media. Once that process is done, we then use a combination of AI along with our human team to bring that essay to life. We turn it into a podcast, we turn it into visual media, such as beautiful videos for longer term, such as YouTube, as well as short form content for TikTok and Instagram. Once we have our finished product and we're ready to stream, we distribute it on our Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, social media accounts. And once it's uploaded, we find our target market, we market it, and we inspire the generations. So what is our target market? Well, primarily we're looking at people who are higher educated, university students, professors, and lifelong learners who are using these apps and want to take an opportunity to really engage with academia. Our secondary market, people who love podcasts, people who are on social media and maybe will scroll across a fun fact and an educational moment to learn something. And ed tech partners. Khan Academy, of course, jumps off the page, but that's just an example of all of these other platforms that exclusively have educational content and share it with their customers. So for a total addressable market, if we look at just the educational podcast market, which is a smaller segmentation since we are doing YouTube and social media, well, right there, that's $2.5 billion annual current market share. And it just shows the opportunity exists to turn this into a real business and opportunity for students, professors, learners, content creators, and for HearSay. Now, you're probably thinking, well, doesn't this already exist? Well, in the way that we're presenting it, it doesn't exist. Of course, there's academic podcasts, but those aren't necessarily peer-reviewed. They haven't gone through the academia process, and they focus on academic topics, which is where we align. But how we get that information to our subscriptions are very different, and how we generate that content is also very different. And then, of course, there's academic journals and repositories, but these are all text-based, highly technical, and not really addressing what we're solving. So what are the gaps here? Well, there's incentives for contributors. So these are students who are writing these essays anyways, and they can get a lot more out of their work. Beyond just a great mark, they can share it with tons of people who would really be interested in it. We're combating misinformation because it's peer-reviewed by a professor, it has references, and it has a high grade, and the student and professor want to share it with the world. And finally, we're not just going after brain rot. This is exclusively academic work that's educational, that we're bringing to you in a fun way. And our opportunity really comes down to empowering students and visualizing these essays and sharing it in a form that allows people to engage with this content. Here's the business model. It's not that different from other streaming services and such. We have free content here with ads. We have a premium subscription. This is ad-free. This is curated. This is early release. We're exploring institutional licenses. So for example, Western University or colleges across the world can also get on board and help students push their essays to really make a name for themselves. And then finally, we're very interested in sponsorship deals and more ad-based marketing since we have a very specific target market. It's been an honor presenting today. I really hope you consider HearSay for your pitch competition. And I'll leave you with this quote: knowledge should not sit on a page. It should be heard, shared, and experienced. And HearSay will do that. And we're excited to work with you. Thank you.